those who know nothing of the deepest meaning of marriage, as a sacred assignment for the soul's highest progress, should not flaunt their self-righteous sacrament, meaning their church-approved marriages, forged in lifetimes of lust, in the faces of others as some kind of religious badge of virtue. Virtue lies in real purity of heart, which comes by application, not by fervently held beliefs of heterosexual hubris. A real spiritual marriage has nothing to do with sex, for bringing children into this world is a divine affair, not a sexual one. And though in the Dark Ages it does require the physical act, that act is meant to bring a soul into embodiment, to be raised on real spiritual principles of virtue and nobility, that it may use this life to achieve divine union. That physical act is not meant to be the daily sensual gratification of parents who have no idea how it eats away at their marriage. Like acid corrodes metal, slowly but surely. Lust, greed, and anger are tools of the satanic force to pull man's consciousness ever downward towards the lower chakras, which are the breeding ground for the experiences of karmic hell, the bitter fruits of wrong action. The more man engages himself in sexual pursuits like a sport, instead of an act meant to bring a child into a loving, otherwise chaste marriage based on immaculate friendship and pure unconditional love, the more he will degrade himself, his spouse, and his children. And the more this world will continue on its downward spiral of depravity. Those who already don't believe in God or in purity and are proud of their wantonness have a better chance of reaching a state of humility, humbled by utter karmic horror, that in time may lead them to a sincere longing for God, and therefore to a true spiritual teaching. But the billions who live and die by their shallow religions to worship sex on the altars of orthodox faith and dime a dozen denominational dud doctrines, thinking of how saved they are because of their so-called faith, they're the ones in a real karmic pickle, age after biblical age. Sex tears couples apart by the gradual or not so gradual downward pull of their minds, hearts, and consciousness, which leads to disrespectful familiarity, meanness, and boredom, which in turn leads to what is the prominent state of things today for all to see: the epidemic of divorce, adultery, hypocrisy, pornography, and immorality. Marriage is meant to be a sacred, eternal friendship that will unite two souls in the perfect love of God. It's meant to be a purifier, as both souls on the difficult path towards their own divinity have to learn from each other. And during the lessons, God and Christ's Guru are bringing every day into their fold, seeking understanding and above all, reveling in the solace, comfort, and sweetness of each other's pure company. When someone looks at someone else as an object of sense gratification, love flies out the window or it was never there. Each slowly but surely feels emptier and emptier, dissatisfied by life or their relationship. They either hurt each other, pretend, or compromise, the favorite word of marriage counselors. And if by chance their love and friendship survives their sexual appetites and they do stay together for the decrepit golden years, their minds and bodies will take the toll. For wanton dissipation of the life force is the quickest way to deplete youthful health. And when death snatches the loved one away, then what? Only an omnipotent bond in true self-realization, in the perception of God in omnipresence, will make your vows as, neither death nor disease will ever do us part, for we're one with God in immortal, eternal bliss. That's God's highest love, expressed as purified human love, not what passes off as love on Valentine's Day and every other day. If you really love someone, you will make yourself a saint, for you would rather die a billion wretched deaths than to hurt that person in thought, word, or deed, much less lower their consciousness for your own greed. And in that utter self-sacrifice, your love is purified in the holy fires of beatitude. Let God be your real marriage counselor. That is, if your marriage is a real, divine marriage. And by counselor, I mean the omniscient voice of God within you that you tune in with through real daily inner communion. I don't mean some shallow, dogmatic, church-endorsed concept that Jesus is your savior and God consecrates your marriage. You're right. God consecrates real spiritual work and immaculate purity. God said, "Blessed are the pure in heart." He did not say, "Blessed are the sex addicted, the porn addicted, and the masturbation addicted who live to worship their lust, married or otherwise, straight or gay."